Keith, thanks so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for your time.
So we have been asking a lot of people here, what's the buzz of the conference? What's everybody excited about? And probably the most common answer we're getting is silver. It feels like there are a few silver companies here, but $31 silver versus $20 silver really changes the economics.
Mm-hmm.
What's your read right now on the silver market?
Well, we're definitely the largest silver company here, and some of the silver companies here, we follow, as a business, because obviously I follow the silver space very closely. I coined the phrase triple-digit silver over a decade ago, so I don't think there's too many people out there that follow the silver space as closely as I do. It's nice to see. This is if you go back during our lifetime, this is only the third time that we've seen silver prices over $30 an ounce. In 1980, it only lasted for a couple of days. In 2011, it was pretty also short-lived, but it lasted about a year. It didn't get below $30 until mid-2012, so it lasted, good chunk of time. This time, I'm hoping it's going to be more long-lived. With gold at current metal prices and silver holding in, and generally, June, July is often a very soft period for metal prices. We did see a correction. Silver did get up to about 32.5, got all the way down to 28. Now it's got back through 31. I think it's screaming to get to 35, and I'd be surprised if it wasn't 35 by the end of the year.
So let's just talk about the difference in the economics for silver producers like yourself from $18 to $20 silver to $30 silver. How big of a difference does that make for you guys in terms of an operating business?
Yeah, well, at our size, a dollar move is about $20 million on the bottom line, and that's a lot of money. We did our budget for 2024 at $24 an ounce, I believe it was. So at $30 an ounce, 6 times 20, that's over $100 million in extra cash that's going to be hitting our bottom line.
You think about that too, just from a valuation standpoint. If you maintain 15 times earnings, if you're getting $20 million per dollar, that's $300 million in market cap that you should be adding for every dollar.
Yeah, and the equities haven't really moved much. Today we saw some companies starting to move, which is nice to see. Hopefully that's the beginning. But if you go back and look at the GDX and compare it over the last 5 years to where it is today and put a gold or silver chart up against that GDX chart, it's surprising the divergence that's occurred over that period of time. We're trading at crazy lows. Last time silver hit $30 an ounce, our stock was $30 a share. Today it's, a third of that.
So what do you think needs to happen for us to start to see capital flow into precious metals equities again?
Well, who knows exactly, but it's definitely sentiment driven, right? It's money flows. I get asked this question all the time. It's really just institutional money. Why are the institutions not coming into this sector? And we can talk for a while about maybe some of the reasons why it's not occurring. But it's really where they can make the easiest money. For IRKs or retirement plans, pension plans. It's just going into the fast money. So it's going to the NASDAQ, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, because that's it's easy for them to do that. They don't have to explain to their bosses why we're investing in Apple or Microsoft. But for a banker or a institution to explain why they're investing in a mining company, it's a more of a challenge. So it's just an easier trade for them. We need a break in the market, in my opinion. And if you go back and look at March of 2000, and I was in the market then, we had the NASDAQ hit 5,000. And over the next 3 years, the NASDAQ got all the way down to 850. And that was what lit up the mining sector. In 2002, when the mining bull market started, it was a 10-year bull market. And we had silver at $5, it went to 50 over that 10-year period of time. We had gold at 240, went to 1900 over that period of time, 8-time move, 10-time move on silver. These are the types of move I think we're going to see. So as I said earlier, I'm a triple-digit silver guy. So we saw silver go from 50 all the way down to 12 at the bottom, back in 2016, 2015. And if you go 10 times that low, you're at $120 silver.
Now, you guys are First Majestic, I'm talking about here, considered a leader in the silver space. Are you guys evaluating any potential opportunities to go and acquire other silver companies? What does the sort of expansion pipeline look like?
It's a constant process. Right? I'm a banker, from the banking system back in the 80s, and I'm not a geologist or an engineer. We've built this business. I built First Quantum through acquisition. I built First Majestic through acquisition, and that's what we're going to continue to do. We have a long list of targets that we constantly are in communication with. We are in discussions with management teams of these other companies regularly, and you never know when a deal is going to happen. You never know what the right time is, but it always takes two to tango. And I'm sure, you'll see another transaction occur. I can't tell you when, I can't tell you with who, but I'm sure it'll happen.
I got to sneak in a question about Snowline Gold. I know that you were involved with Snowline Gold. We interviewed the CEO. His name is Scott Birdall, not that long ago, and he was saying that you were one of the early backers of Scott. Right. Can you walk us through your thought process of how you got involved there?
It was Scott approached me in early 2000 because their portfolio, which is quite a large portfolio, contained an asset that could potentially be a silver project. And so he was trying to look for financing, obviously. So we looked at it, and our team just deemed it too grassroots. It was never been drilled, and it was just it's just simply that. It was just too grassroots. But I liked Scott. I liked his dad, Ron, and I convinced Ron to create a new co with their gold portfolio, and that was the creation of Snowline Gold. So Ron and spun out his several assets in gold, focused in Yukon, of course, as you know, and that became the beginning of Snowline. And obviously, the drilling success is pretty amazing. And eventually, Snowline, in my opinion, will get taken out by a major. Who knows when it's going to happen, but it's done extremely well. And just to let your listeners know, I just recently took over or took their balance of their portfolio public. So when I did the deal with Ron back in 2020, we hived off his gold assets into Snowline Gold, but we kept the other assets aside for a future pubco transaction. We just completed that transaction about 3 or 4 weeks ago. The company just started trading. It's called Yukon Metals Corp. YMC is the symbol. It's trading at about 75-80 cents, so it's pretty cheap. And they won't be drilling immediately, but it's a portfolio that is a copper, tungsten, zinc, a little bit of silver maybe. So it's a pretty broad portfolio of multi-metals. So I'm pretty excited about Yukon Metals. Your listeners might want to have a look at that as well.
I got to sneak in another question about First Majestic. Jerritt Canyon, obviously this has been a bit of a challenging project for you guys. You guys were pretty transparent with the market about what was going on there. Mm-hmm. What's the plan right now for Jerritt Canyon?
We start drilling next week. So we're spending $10 million on exploration this year. It's the first time we're investing capital there since we closed it down. Obviously making that decision was a tough one. Going back, in time, in hindsight, obviously, different than reality sometimes. But, just looking back, we should have shut that mine down on day one. But I didn't want to be, that foreign company that comes in and lays off 600 workers on the first day that we owned it and then rebuilt it. Because we knew it needed a lot of work, but we thought we can do all that work at the same time as we were doing production. And it turned out that we weren't able to. It was just costing us way too much money. Our costs per ounce were just way too high. And we said, this is enough. We have to reset the clock. And so we laid off the workforce, unfortunately, and started over. So it's now, it's got 3.7 million ounces of gold. It's not a small resource. We think that we can get that number much higher than that over the next 2 years of drilling. But that mill also needs to be modernized because, we don't want to have the same issue happen, during the winter of 2022 when we had pipes bursting and icicles growing within the mill and motors, breaking due to cold weather. And it was just turned to be, it was a very difficult situation during that winter of 2022. So that whole mill needs investment. And we're going to be doing that investment over the next couple of years, side by side with exploration. And we hope to make a decision by the end of 2026 on what we're going to do going forward. But we do hope to get it back up and running in 2027.
Well, Keith, thanks so much for hopping on here. It's great to finally meet you in person. And we always appreciate you taking the time to hop on here. Our audience is always thrilled when we have you on. So thanks for doing this. And please keep coming back on here in the future to update our audience as the company continues to develop.